kinda a serious video today, so I'm gonna try and be not so chaotic. I did do like a draft of everything I was gonna say, but it looks like it's gone. Oh my god. Like, look at this. It's fully gone. Oh my god. This is my 13th reason, honestly. Okay, I'm gonna go back to the drawing board and I'll see you in a few hours. Okay, I am finally back and all typed up because if I don't make notes, I will just not remember. But this video is not light-hearted at all. If animal abuse really upsets you to the point you can't listen to it, I'd give this video a miss. This is going to be pretty dark, but like in no way am I influential or big, but I am just another voice, and that's what we need. The more voices that speak about this, the better. We need to get it spread around. We need to boycott these pet stores to stop them selling live animals, because it's just, I mean, it's bad enough with the unsafe products, but these animals are not living, they're just existing. So yeah, this is an expose on chain pet stores, specifically UK chain pet stores, as that's where I'm from. I've made some categories which we're gonna go through, and at the end I will hop onto my computer and I will react to some TikToks about these pet stores. Some are quite disturbing and upsetting, but I will put a warning before I'm gonna jump to those videos. So yeah, so let's start off with the staff. In no way is this the staff's problem. Very rarely is it the staff's problem, which I will go into, but the staff aren't trained properly. No matter how high they are in the levels of training, the training providers do not give them the information needed. Like, for example, somebody way up there would probably not know barely anything about rodents, just mainly about cats and dogs. So I would also like to thank all of my sources, everybody that came to give me their own experiences. Like, thank you so much. I couldn't have made this video without you, and it's just helped me so much. So I have put you all as anonymous. So when I'm referring to you, I will say Anon. So here we go. So Anon had an experience where their colleague accidentally hoovered up a hamster in the back room whilst cleaning. But Anon did not believe that this was an accident. They then proceeded to take the hamster home and try and nurse it back to health. But unfortunately, the hamster did end up passing. So that is an example of staff where it was their fault. They were that kind of person where you knew it wasn't an accident and they was just trying to get a rise out of people all the time. This person also prank called Anon and tried to make out that they were buying hamsters to feed their snakes and stuff, just to wind Anon up. And it's just not funny. When you go to work not to mess around. Let's go on to store floor. So staff actually have to go around every hour and remove dead fish from the tanks. The fish get ill and die due to them all being on the same filter system. So any disease just gets passed around to all the different tanks, and these chain pet stores don't do anything about that. It would probably make them more money, if they got different filter systems for different tanks, because then they'd have more fish alive and more fish to sell. Those fish then go into a huge chest freezer in the back room with all the other dead animals. So I can't imagine that's pleasant doing that job. Another anon went into the store and a gerbil's wheel was knocked over. They went in a few days later and the wheel was still knocked over in the same place. Now, this could have been put back and knocked over again, but it's pretty coincidental if it's in the same exact place. And also, in these chain pet stores, hamsters are usually kept in an enclosure with 2 or more other hamsters, and this often results in fighting and possibly death, because as they get older, hamsters should not live together and they should only be kept together until maximum 6 weeks old, because in them times they do have to stay with their siblings and learn from each other. For example, learn what is biting too hard and what is playful biting. It's very educational for them, and you shouldn't leave them any longer than 6 weeks together. Now, the worst bit. Breeding farms / rodent mills. I hate. These are so evil, so cruel. I don't know how they're still legal. It's just absolutely disgusting. This is the reason I want to boycott these chain pet stores, because we don't want them selling animals, not when they come from unethical practices like these. So the staff are actually never told about rodent mills. They're told that all the rodents come from a large breeder, when that large breeder is in fact a rodent mill. Staff often get animals arriving sick or dead. This can be due to the travelling, the stress, fighting with each other, and even inherited things, because it's unethical breeding. They don't care what they're breeding together. As long as they make babies they can sell, it's fine. So they could have any genetic problems and then pass it on to their babies, and then their babies will breed, create more genetic problems and pass it on to their babies, and so on. So in most rodent mills, the animals are normally kept in little storage boxes. There could be like 50 to 100 of them pushed together in a little storage box. And these warehouses, they do flood very regularly, and these animals normally either drown and die, or they get left wet, cold and traumatized, and usually die later due to shock and complications. And some employees, I saw it, oh my god, I saw I think it was a PETA video where they snuck into one of these rodent mills, and I was in tears. But some of these employees kill unwanted rodents by putting them in a bag, tying it up and whacking it on the end of a table. And I actually saw that happen. It wasn't nice, but people need to see this to know that it actually happens, and it's just so cruel. They're also gassed and they're frozen alive. It's just awful. We should have better regulations. These places should not be allowed to operate. It's just, I mean, at least with them, it sounds awful, but at least with them putting them in a bag and killing them like that on a table, they have a quick death and they don't have to live a horrible life. But they shouldn't even be brought into that horrible life. let's go on to the returns and misgendering. So a lot of animals actually do get returned because they have health problems, complications, which is most likely from these rodent mills and genetics. Or it could be from the actual stores not giving them proper care. Accidental litters are returned a lot due to misgendering animals that live together. Even animals that don't live together, these pet stores tell you that you can keep 2 dwarf hamsters together. They give you a male and a female by accident, and babies. And one anon actually said that they didn't do full-time work because they were I think it was work experience, I'm not too sure, I can't remember, but they'd see accidental litters returned at least once a month. So imagine if they were full-time, how many accidental litters they would have seen returned to the store. I mean, with hamsters, it's not that hard, is it? Like, have you seen the size of Reggie's balls? You can't miss them. You really can't miss them. Okay, now to quarantine. This is where new intakes go before they get put onto the shop floor, and they spend at least a week there just to make sure they aren't ill. It is terrible conditions. It's just like tiny tanks. Not very good, but it's not any better when they get put out onto the shop floor. Isolation rooms. This is where sick animals go whilst receiving treatment, and I've heard of one of my anons that the treatment isn't really adequate. Now onto the bit that most people know, stock. So these chain pet stores sell a lot of unsafe stock, especially for all small animals. I mean, if we had better regulations in this country, they wouldn't be selling it, but the staff don't know that it's unsafe because they don't get proper training. The people in charge, they couldn't give a flying shit because all we think about is money. And also, I missed out on the staff bit, but the staff, they're not really allowed to give proper care advice. Like, they can't refuse a sale of a small cage because Mr. CEO wants that money. So they've just got to stand there and watch people buy unsafe products, and they can't do anything about it. I actually went in to return my bathing sand, the Harry hamster one. The employee asked me, can I ask why you're returning it? And I said it's unsafe for hamsters, and they were just like, okay. They didn't try to question that. Okay, so let's get on to stories from my wonderful sources. Thank you so much for sending all this information in. So one of the anons saved lots of animals when they worked there that had been surrendered or poorly, and a massive hats off to this person, like, doing amazing work. Go you. Another anon went to the store to get some more bedding. This is a really strange story. As they got a new enclosure and couldn't reach, so asked a member of staff for 2 bags. And they wasn't the big bags, they were like these ones. The member of staff was very confused and asked why Anon wanted 2 bags. And Anon replied that they'd just got a new cage and needed bedding. The member of staff then replied that hamsters only need 1 handful of bedding sprinkled around, and asked if Anon still wanted the 2 bags and tried to talk them out of buying 2. Anon then left with 2 bags, which is great, but it just shows that these poor employees don't get the training they need. Another Anon got 2 rats from the store at the beginning of this year. The employee got rat 1 out and it was sneezing uncontrollably, and the employee said this was completely normal and there was nothing wrong with them. They both continued sneezing a lot for a week. Then rat 1 started wheezing whilst he was breathing. Anon took rat 1 to the in-store vets and he was diagnosed with a respiratory condition and given antibiotics. They said his brother probably had it too, but didn't need antibiotics as he was fighting it. The pet store did pay for the first lot of pet bills. They had to be pushed to pay for the second and refused the rest. Anon got told they could return them and get their money back, but how can you return pets that you've bonded with and that you love very much? Another Anon went to the store for a hamster, and when the employee got it out, it bit, urinated and pooped all over the employee out of fear. That hamster never became tame. It was always a bit aggressive, and I'm guessing this was due to stress with the enclosures and the treatment in the pet store. And our last Anon got a budgie from said pet store, and it came with worms, like the health problem, not actual worms. They never told Anon this, and the budgie nearly died from a respiratory problem, which Anon believes was something the budgie had always had, and it was the store's fault. So I haven't gone into depth in absolutely everything, but these are the main things people need to talk about and share around. It's just, it's like the horrors of pet stores, honestly. But I'll give you your warning now. I'm now gonna go onto my computer and show you the TikToks. So watch at your own risk. Okay, so here we are on the video section. I will also link down below the PETA videos, and I think there's a BBC one as well. They are very disturbing, I must warn you, but people have got to see them to understand that this is not right. This should not be happening to creatures that are living. So let's get on with the TikToks. So there's this one first. Number 1, its wheel is on its side, and the wheel is also too small. This poor baby is just, look at the hides, they're see-through. Like, small animals aren't gonna feel safe if they can still see through their hides. It's just, look how small the cage is as well and how much bedding there is. It's not nice. Okay, let's look at this one. Trigger warning, dead animals. So this is one of the rodent mills. Just look at the conditions. Obviously not happy, obviously trying to escape. This is looked after like a flood. And this is a dead one they've pulled out. And another dying one. It's just disgusting. These two, I believe, are the owners of Happy Hamsters. They have a really good TikTok account. Amazing. And this is their video on chain pet stores. So let's watch this. Small cages. Yep. Domicilio. Yep, that's very true. Toxic toys, yeah. Uneducated. Rodent mills. And rescues have to jump in. Yeah.
Will pack change? My heart broke today seeing this beautiful bun stuck in this torture box, or in other words, the adoption section. Whilst their two selling sections were completely empty, I asked a worker why she couldn't be moved, and I was told when they get more rabbits in to sell she will just have to go back in the adoption section. They openly admitted the space was far too small.
That's awful.
I have done so many emails to their head office stating their poor care, poor products, but I get robot responses or nothing.
Yep.
How can a pet shop that states that our number one value as we put pets first continue to fail them? Many people will wonder why I care so much, and that's because we are guilty of being uneducated initially and buying to rabbits from them 5 years ago. We learned, educated ourselves, and realized the truth. They can do better, but money means more.
Exactly, yeah, it's just the conditions they're put in stores, especially in certain stores that should not be named. They've got a new pet village, and it's just disgusting. Like, if you look up pictures of said pet village, the enclosures are really small. It encourages children to come up and disturb them all the time. Even when they're in their hides underground, like the rabbits, there's peepee holes for the kids to just go, "Ooh." Yeah, not fun. This was filmed in a pet store. Two Syrians fighting, like I said, which is bound to happen if they're kept together more than 6 weeks. Well, from birth. Yeah, and the staff are doing nothing about it. So they're either going to end up killing each other or getting bad injuries.
So, as I said a while ago, I got gerbils. Here's one, Babatunde. Anyway, notice that Navari has built a nest. So, look up here. And then I find a baby hanging out the cage. This is exactly why nobody out there should trust pets at home for sexing animals. Because Navari is definitely not a boy. She's just given birth. 2 babies. I am a gerbil granny.
Yeah, so this is an example of misgendering. You see, most people would return them back to the store, the babies, surrender them, and just say, what the hell? But it looks like this person is gonna raise the babies, which is really sweet. But then again, if you've got them from a pet store, you don't know what the parents were carrying, if they were carrying any, what's the word, hereditary problems, and they're now gonna pass it on to those babies. Oh, the fish tanks. Let's see how many fish are alive. Oh my god. I forgot to save this video. Oh my god. How did he... Oh yeah, I also forgot to mention, if a hamster escapes, it gets like a week to be caught until they bring the exterminator in. But with rats, it's like 3 days until they bring an exterminator in to kill it. I don't know why it's so different, but they wouldn't be escaping if you had proper enclosures for them. But oh my god, look at that poor thing! How did it get wet? This is another example of the enclosures being too small, and this little baby's trying to get out. It's so stressed. Poor baby. I hope you escape and live a very happy life. Ooh, this is Nico Syrian Hamster. They did the pet debate at Hamster Fair. Her videos are just on TikTok. Go and check her out. So this is her video showing not last year's but the year before, I think, Hamster Fair speech by Tiffany and, oh, I'm so sorry, I forgot his name. They both own hamsterwelfare.com, which is an amazing site. If you haven't already visited it, go and visit it. But this is their speech about pet stores.
Hamsterwelfare.com co-owners Mark and Tiffany were invited to the Hamster Fair 2022 to talk about their website. Let's get into it again. Exposing pets at home. We should all know by now that small cages are cruel, so when the RSPCA decided to team up with Pets at Home, we thought, oh good, they might actually help and make a difference. No, they did not. In fact, the RSPCA actually removed from their website the minimum hamster cage size, which back then was 80 by 50, and replaced it with the information of, buy the biggest cage possible. So what did we, the hamster community, do about this? Well, we started a petition.
Petition out there signed by 37,000 people asking the RSPCA to bring back the cage size of 80 centimetres to 50 centimetres. You know, the cage size is a real sticking point amongst the hamster community. What's your problem? Put this advice back. And I've seen in a forum, and I was contacted about this, people say that after the RSPCA teamed up with Pets at Home, this advice vanished from their website.
So let's move on to hamster wheels. Surely that's got to be a bit better, right?
More wheels. So what can small wheels do? They can cause back problems. You can see this hamster here, curved spine.
But they brought out a new wheel. Let's have a look.
That Pets at Home has started selling these new wheels.
Ooh.
It's like, oh wow, wooden wheels.
Nice.
Oh no, this has happened. They've got little wooden towels in. Woman's come back home from work. Blood all over the wheel, all over the cage. So it's done something to the hamster. And it's just like, you know, it could really hurt the hamster if they go like that. You know, it can hurt the paws. So they're trying to do good things, but they're not listening totally.
There's so much information out there, and they still get it wrong. But what about, where do pet shops get their hamsters from?
Oh no.
Most big chain pet shops have rodent mills. They will, it's like a big massive factory, warehouse. They'll breed, and they'll breed until mommy hamsters died. They'll have incest hamsters, unfortunately.
Not good.
They don't care. They're in these little boxes.
Vile.
There's been reports of brachycephalic hamster. If you talk to Kate and Soph, they rescued a brachycephalic hamster. Now, I'm no expert of their care guides and everything, but I know that they would need a soft diet because the teeth are so brittle and the teeth can grow out of their skulls.
Ooh.
Because they're breeding these hamsters to death and they don't care. They don't care at all.
Don't. And this is why we say to adopt a hamster, as buying from a pet shop only encourages rodent mills. More info.
Okay, so those were the TikToks I accumulated. Hopefully that's given you a more in-depth view. Once again, I am so sorry for such a dark and disturbing video, but it needs to be talked about. The more voices talking about this, the better. Hopefully we can make a change in the near future for the quality of life for small animals. Can we just get on Germany's level, please? Because this is just so upsetting. Once again, thank you to all my sources. You are amazing, love you. And I will link in the description, hamsterwelfare.com. I will also link the upsetting videos. Watch at your own discretion, but it's really important to know what goes on there, and we need to stop that. So if you made it all the way to the end, thank you so much for listening to this information. Please, if you can, share this. Let it be heard how these animals are living. Give this video a thumbs up, and if you want to see more of my hamster content, don't forget to subscribe. Take care, bye.